Hey everybody, my name is Marcella Dominguez and I welcome you back to my trademark channel. Here you are going to learn about everything trademark related, whether you're a small business or medium-sized business, online or offline. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so right now before you even start watching this video. If you are wondering how in the world am I going to put a stop to trademark infringement, how am I going to stop that person from using my name, slogan, brand, trademark because they've been using it after I started using it, then you want to stay tuned and watch everything I have to say because you might take a few take-home tips. You see, trademark infringement is a really big deal. It's a big deal on Amazon, even off of Amazon, if you have an online store or if you have a brick and mortar store. Right now, the issue is obviously more prevalent in online businesses and on Amazon. Because of what is going on, people working more behind their computers rather than visiting brick and mortar locations. But the issue of trademark infringement has been around for a really, really long time. It is such an important issue that you need to make yourself aware of for various reasons, which I am going to touch on in this video. Reason number one, you need to know about trademark infringement because if you ever encounter it, in other words, if somebody sends you a letter letting you know that you have been trademark infringing, you might not even know it. You didn't know that you were using a slogan or a business name that is already in use by somebody else. Moreover, that business name or slogan or tagline might not even be the exact same one as the one you're using. And I'll tell you a little tip. It's a little secret. More often than not, the name you are using is not going to be the exact same as the one that the trademark infringer is claiming you are infringing upon. So in other words, it might be similar to someone else's, and they still might have the right to say that you are trademark infringing. And so in those situations, you might feel totally caught off guard. You think to yourself, but mine is so different. Mine is not the exact same. I do not even sell the exact same products. Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of gray area when it comes to trademark infringement. And I mean gray area in the mind of the consumer. So if you're someone that sells on Amazon, then it's very important for you to know how you're going to approach this situation. What am I going to do? Am I going to respond to this person first? Am I going to reach out to an attorney first? So that is reason number one. And I want to address that very question that I left you hanging with right now. Should you respond to the trademark phone call that lets you know you're infringing? Should you respond to the letter that tells you you are trademark infringing, or should you reach out to an attorney first? And my suggestion is always this. If you feel you are really in a predicament and you might dig yourself a deeper hole by responding to that letter or to that phone call, then I suggest that you reach out to an attorney first. You see, the information that you provide either on a phone call or through an email or through a letter, through any means of communication, can be used against you later. Now that sounds so cliche, right? It sounds like something a typical lawyer would say. Anything you say can and will be used against you. But that is the truth. So you want to make sure that you are saying and providing information that is accurate and that won't later be used against you. So sometimes you have to be careful of how you word things. There are different ways to explain facts. So you want to make sure that you aren't going to get yourself into any kind of trouble by responding in your choice of words. So that's what an attorney is there for, to kind of make sure that you're responding in such a way that you aren't digging a deeper hole for yourself. Now, reason number three. If you are made aware that you are trademark infringing, it might not always be in the form of a phone call or a letter or an email. And I'll tell you, if you are in the trademark application process, there is something called a notice of opposition. Now, a notice of opposition is a formal filing, typically by a lawyer, through the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board that basically tells the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, hey, I want to put a stop to this person's application for such and such reasons. One of those reasons could be trademark infringement. So it might not always be in the form of an email or a phone call. It's going to come in a circumstance which might not be that familiar to you. Everybody familiarizes themselves with emails and with phone calls, so that could be expected. But when it comes in the form of a notice of opposition through, the trademark process or through your trademark journey, then it might really throw you off guard. I don't want that to set you back. So if you're interested in finding out why you received a notice of opposition, or if you're interested in being defended against a notice of opposition, then make sure that you click down below. You have to scroll down into the description. So use your mouse, keep scrolling until you find the information that you need to be able to contact me. Remember, it's free to send an email. So I just want to remind you that responding to a trademark infringement can sometimes be as easy as responding to a phone call and working it out with the other side. And if you're somebody who prefers to do all of this in email, that is good, because it's always great to formalize communications in such a way that you can refer back to them later. But I'm not so sure that I would recommend that you should respond on your own, with your own words, in your own language, using using however you would personally respond, because that could get you in trouble later. Now, again, to recap, you could also be receiving a trademark infringement notice through a notice of opposition. Now, I want to give you an example of some of the clients that I've helped without telling you all of the details, but what I can say is what I have said already, and that is that most of the time you're not going to be contacted by somebody who has the exact same name as the one you're trying to use. More often than not, it's going to be someone who's using a similar name, and so that's also going to throw you off guard. So trademark infringement is all about understanding these nuances, right? Because it is common to get phone calls that say, but how could they be telling me that I'm infringing? Why would I receive a cease and desist letter if mine is different than theirs? My spelling, the spelling of my name, the spelling of my slogan or tagline is different. Maybe it's different by just a couple of letters, maybe it's different by just a couple of words, but nonetheless, consumer confusion in the marketplace is what ultimately drives attorneys to send that cease and desist letter or to oppose someone's trademark. So it's really important that if you want to understand what is actually going on, that you hire an attorney so that you're not, again, digging yourself into a deeper hole. Or maybe it could be resolved amicably where, either you end up being able to use your name, or at least you'd be compensated for the cost that you already put into your brand. But all of that is usually done with the help of a lawyer, because notice of oppositions and trademark infringements can be tricky. So what does trademark infringement even mean? Trademark infringement basically means, hey, you're using a mark that is creating consumer confusion in the marketplace. In other words, you're using a name too similar to mine or exactly like mine, and I don't like it, and I need you to stop because you are going to further confuse consumers. And I have invested a lot of money into my brand, and quite frankly, I don't want you around. So I'll tell you, coming from a small business owner, a cease and desist letter or a phone call might sound something like, hi, I represent XYZ business. My client has been using XYZ name for this many years, and we want you to cease and desist the use of your mark, which is infringing or diluting our client's mark, and we give you 30 days to do so. Now, coming from a bigger company, sometimes that letter might be a little bit more aggressive. So some of the bigger companies, like let's say the Coca-Colas, the Nikes of the world, they don't want you using anything remotely similar to theirs. And so those big players will send you sometimes still nice letters that sound a little nice, because they really just want you to go away. And most of the time people will be scared off enough that they will stop using the name. But if you strongly feel that you have a right to be using your name, then you don't have to be scared off. Or even if you are scared off, you can reach out to a lawyer who has dealt with notice of oppositions before or trademark infringements to see what kind of stake you have in the game, to see if you can actually put your foot down and say, okay, if you want my name, then let's come to an agreement. Are you going to compensate me for some of the investments I've made already, or to refile for a trademark? And so sometimes as a small business owner who isn't as experienced with what trademark infringement even means, this might be where you ask yourself, seriously, should I maybe hire somebody who's more experienced in this to be able to recoup some of my costs? So make sure that you scroll down below where you can find more information about where to contact us, especially if you have a trademark infringement problem that you want to take care of. Now, there's also a flip side of this coin where somebody could be trademark infringing against you, and so you want to know how to put a stop to them. And in that situation, you can also send us an email too, and we'd be more than happy to help.